Hey, I'm a bad vegan. I'm here to judge you and your actions. Seriously though, this is the top 10 silliest, ignorant BS excuses that vegans hear on a regular basis. It's actually kind of funny and pathetic. The first one, to eat and wear animals today, is protein. We need our protein because we are bodybuilders. We're not couch potatoes like most of them actually are sitting behind their computers. They act like they're pro athletes and need all this protein. Actually, there's many pro athletes today who are actually vegan, from UFC fighters, Olympians, NFL players, natural bodybuilders, veganbodybuilding.com. So, protein, the biggest myth and BS. Many vegan sources of protein anyways, from beans, peanuts, peanut butter, lentils, almond milk, coconut milk, ample sources of protein. Hummus, don't worry about it. No one has ever died that I have ever heard of protein deficiency. But most Americans die from heart disease, the leading killer, and one of the main causes, animal cholesterols. So if you're worried about protein and not heart disease, you might want to recheck your logic. So protein, the biggest myth, is they're tough bodybuilders and they need their protein. The other one is history. We've always done it, so why stop now? Well, we've always done a lot of horrible things in our history. I'm sure you can think of a few, from the Holocaust, the slavery, to women oppression of women and women's rights issues, theft, and other forms of cruelty. So just because history, we've always done it, that does not make it right. Our history is very flawed and very sadistic. So there's no excuse to use that to support your actions today. So the next one is plants feel pain, the poor plants. Are you always concerned about plants? Do you plant trees? Or is it you cut your grass? Or is it just when you're arguing with a vegan that you come up with this nonsense? For that one, I probably shouldn't even bother entertaining you or answering it because it's so pathetic, but I will say that they are not mammals as your dog, a pig. They're both mammals. Do you think a dog is the same as a plant? Do you think you are? We're mammals. We have hearts, lungs. We all breathe and bleed the same. We have a developed central nervous system that is able to suffer. We also have brains, so time to use it. All right. So plants, yeah. Other animals do it, so I should be able to do it. Well, actually, a lot of animals don't. From horses, rhinos, giant panda, gorilla, which has a lot of DNA similar to ours, about 99% to be in fact, hippos, kangaroo, buffalo, ox, bison, deer, moose, manatee, iguana. I could go on and on. Giant panda, if I haven't mentioned that. So a lot of strong and smart animals are actually vegan, herbivore. And again, other animals do it. Do you get your morals from wildlife? Do you also copy their other behaviors, like drinking out of rivers and puddles? Do you sleep naked? Do you sleep in holes in the ground? Do you copy those behaviors, or just the ones that you desire? Do you actually go attack an animal that is living free, rip them apart and eat them raw? No. And if you do eat meat, I dare you actually to hunt way better than a lifetime of confinement in a factory farm where they suffer from birth to death. The death isn't even the worst part, in my opinion. So other animals do it, yes. Other animals go into stores and buy hundreds of animal products, right? And we're the only species that drinks milk beyond infancy from another species. So time to be more consistent. So using other animals do it as an excuse, lame, failure, bzz. Animals will overpopulate. Yes, the animals are going to overtake the world. Despite human population going up drastically, animal and wildlife populations have dropped dramatically. Um, and we even have extinctions due to humans, from elephants and rhinos that are near extinct because people are killing them for their tusks. That's another issue. But humans are overpopulated, 8 billion to be exact, and we are a very dangerous and destructive species. We are not the only species, despite how we act. And we also force breed animals. I lived in Texas for a while, and they had a place called Livestock Reproductive Services. They actually put on a giant arm condom and artificially inseminate the cows, the dairy cows, to keep them pregnant, to keep making milk. So they force breed a lot of animals. So the opposite is true. They will not overtake the world. So don't worry about that. Thanks for the concern, though. It's really appreciated. You just repeat the cycle endlessly of breeding and killing because you're worried about overpopulation. And when really we should be worrying about human overpopulation. Check out podwaddle.com, POODWADDLE.com. Very scary statistics on human overpopulation and how destructive we are. The next excuse: oh, I like my meat. Your meat? All right. First you hired someone to do it for you, a hitman to be exact, to enslave, rape, and murder them. But you liking something doesn't make it right. I'm sure a rapist likes what they do. I'm sure a child molester likes what they do. I'm sure a guy who beats his wife likes what he does. It helps him, makes him feel good. Liking something, making it right? Nah. It's not all about you, despite what your mother told you. Put yourself in the victim's shoe. All right. Check out meatvideo.com. They're probably the most abused, definitely the most abused in history in the largest quantity, but their suffering is immeasurable. They suffer from birth to death. So your little instant taste pleasure of cooked flesh taste or some cheese, reconsider it. What do we got here? Health. You're worried about your health. Legitimate concern. You're concerned about your health. Well, I'll let you know that vegetarians and vegans live longer on average. They've done studies of the Rastafarians, the Buddhists, the Hare Krishna, and Seventh-day Adventist religions, and they have lived much longer on average, and they've been doing this for a very long time. So, if you want to live longer, obviously you would want to be vegetarian or vegan, to be exact. So don't worry about your health. I feel sorry for you that you were misled, but time to make a change. Check out veganhealth.org. It's by registered dietitians that are very credible. They break everything down from B12 sources to omega-3 sources, break everything down, sources of everything. So don't worry, that's a good website, veganhealth.org, and pcrm.org for doctors, but veganhealth.org, dietitians, if you're concerned about your health. That brings us to our next one, religion. As I just mentioned, Rastafarian, Seventh-day Adventists, Buddhists, Hare Krishna, ChristianVeg.org, they're all vegetarians. Using your religion to support violence and cruelty this day and age, and how we treat them in factory farms is reprehensible. Stop hiding behind your religion and using it as an excuse. No religion says you must consume animals to be a good person. No religion says you need to consume animals or it's bad to not consume them. What we know today, you would want to be, for religious people should want to be, because it helps our environment, it helps our healthcare system. It can help reduce world hunger drastically. Look up the connection, animals, vegan, and world hunger. So as a caring, compassionate, religious person, as I know you all are, you would want to be a vegetarian or vegan. Or do you just pick and choose what rules you want to follow in the Bible, your Bible, to be exact? Do you just pick and choose? Do you have had sex yet before marriage? Have you done all the other rules? Do you follow everything? So anyways, my point is, stop using religion and hiding behind it to support violence, especially factory farms, anything but natural. So what would Jesus do today? Not this, not factory farms. Meatvideo.com, check that out. So what else do we got? People problems. You're concerned with people because you're such a good person. People problems come first. I agree with that actually. But there's one thing. I served in the Peace Corps helping people issues for 2 years. I help more people now as a vegan because, again, leaving animals alone, that's all I expect you to do, animal rights to be left alone, is best to reduce world hunger. Every 8 to 12 pounds of corn or grain fed to a bird or pig that are kept in these tiny cages, every 8 to 10, 12 pounds, you only get 1 pound of meat in return. It's like you, if you eat 10 pounds of food, you're not going to put on 10 pounds of weight. You burn it off just living. That's why they cage them so they can't exercise and burn off more weight. But every 8 to 10, 12 pounds, crops you feed them, you only get 1 pound of meat in return. So you're wasting most of your food to convert it. So it can drastically reduce world hunger, our environment, it's best for our healthcare system, and of course torture of billions of animals that are terrorized from birth to death, mutilated and abused. So if you're concerned about people, simply leaving animals alone is one of the best ways you can help. So I also hope that you want to look up peacecorps.gov, since you're so concerned about human charities, which I worked on many, from Food Not Bombs, Habitat for Humanity, food banks, homeless shelters, Camp Easter Seal, Special Olympics, numerous other ones. So those are other ones you might want to get involved in too, since you're so concerned about people issues all of a sudden. The other one here, we will kill field animals like snakes and rats. That excuse, field mice. I heard that at Texas A&M University while leafleting a school once. See, the funny thing about that is, again, it takes more crops and grains to feed an animal. So you're going to be harvesting more crops. So in turn, you're going to hurt more field animals by harvesting those more crops rather than eating them directly. So that fails yet again. So stop trying to find reasons to justify more suffering and find reasons or ways to reduce. Use your brain for good for a change. So rather than invent ways like nets in front of the tractors or cultivating equipment to harvest the crops, find ways to do that rather than excuses that don't hold water. So no, vegans do not kill more field mice and snakes by harvesting of crops. They harm less because you harvest less crops. Let me see, what other ones do we got here? We went through protein, history, always done it. Plants feel pain, again. They're not mammals like us and dogs and pigs, and they don't have a central nervous system, and also taking an apple off a tree doesn't even kill it, so that's a joke of an excuse that shouldn't even be entertained. Other animals do it, it's expensive. What to eat, thousands of food, easily made vegetarian, from Indian food, Chinese food, Greek food, Mexican food, Italian food, all cheap, easily made vegetarian, and very healthy. We will overpopulate, you like your meat, health, they're just animals, okay? People problems come first, hunger, religion. So I think that shut down most of the excuses. I'm sure you'll come up with some more funny ones that will entertain us, or if you're a vegan and you've heard some funny ones, please share them in the comments. Or if you're a meat eater, please share your own. I'm sure it'll be funny. I haven't heard a good one in over 15 years of promoting on a regular basis, usually once a week, and encountering thousands of people. I haven't heard one that has been true. If you think you're an omnivore or consider yourself an omnivore, then I suggest you go attack your dog, eat them raw. That you can digest them in your long intestines, which meat rots in. You can use your sharp canines, which most herbivores have, to attack and rip apart and eat them raw. That would be better, or hunt. At least I dare you to hunt. Way better than factory farming, meatvideo.com. And I suggest you at least cut down your consumption, reduce. If you eat less birds and pigs, you'll do a lot of good. Most eat about 50 to 75 animals a year, mainly small birds. I suggest you try to make that small step at least if you want to, if you like it. But just stick to you like it. That's the only true excuse, and the one that is honest. So I know your defense mechanisms kick in. My wife is a psychologist, so we understand how you're defensive and stuff, especially when it's new ideas. But please consider, do some research. You'll find that there's not much of an argument against vegetarian or veganism. This is the day and age. To eat and wear animals like cavemen is unnecessary. That's the bottom line. Again, you have thousands of items in grocery stores to choose from, so choose ones that are good and make a positive difference in the world.